Welcome back to Transliterature. I'm Dr. Baikovsky, and today we're discussing DC Bombshells. The particular issue that we're going to discuss today is from the second trade paperback of DC Bombshells by Marguerite Bennett. This is one of my favorite worlds in the DC universe that very much highlights not only women, but a wider diversity of women that usually get prominent space in the DC comics. And one of those women is Elisa Yao, who started off in DC Comics, at least as far back as she started to get talked about, as Batgirl's roommate. Batgirl eventually comes out to her as being Batgirl, and Elisa comes out to her as being a transgender woman. Well, in the DC Comics universe, Elisa works with a group of other women, young women who call themselves the Batgirls. Much like Batwoman in this universe, who gets her Bat moniker not only from the animal bat, but also from the fact that they all use baseball paraphernalia, summoning up images from a league of their own and women playing baseball. Well, the Batgirls join together and they face a common enemy in this orphanage that is imprisoning children, working in hand with the police who are picking up kids and bringing them against their will to the orphanage. And there in the orphanage, the children are put into exploitative child labor practices. Well, Elisa's brought in as a new member of the Batgirls. They break into the prison, the orphanage, which is functionally a prison, through their various skills, including Elisa's ability to dance and do acrobatics. They rescue Elisa's brother, as well as some other friends and family members who've been captured by the orphanage. And in particular, Lisa gets to face off with the headmistress of this orphanage, who espouses a very white supremacist, anti-immigrant sentiments about keeping America for the Americans. She gets called out that her beliefs in trying to keep America for Americans is not only anti-immigrant and colonial, but also racist insofar as what she means by that is keeping America white, keep holding up the systems of white supremacy in the United States. One way that you can use this book in your classrooms is to invite your students to think about American history, particularly that mid-20th century period during and after the Second World War, this time that is often glamorized and lifted up by a certain kind of nostalgia for a sort of what's sometimes called a pre-racial America, but which is sort of a fantasy of segregation that is lifted up as a time of traditional gender roles, reinforcing misogyny, of a period before certain awakenings and revolutions of sexual liberation, before the formalization of gay rights and transgender rights. And it breaks it open and it reimagines it of what if more women were even more empowered than they were. The work that was already happening in the mid-20th century. What if some of those women put on masks, had superpowers, and were able to actively go out and bring a light to these issues and take them on in a heightened way. So on a scale of 5, this is a solid 4.4. I love this story. I really appreciate the wider world that it's a part of. So that's it for this week. If you like this video, give it a like below. If you have thoughts or favorite moments from the DC Bombshells universe, drop a comment. And in the meanwhile, keep on reading.